Well, welcome, folks, once again. I'm the Reverend Jim Ball. I'm the co-chair of Evangelicals for Biden. We exist to help Vice President Biden become the next president of the United States and Kamala Harris become the next vice president. And we're looking forward to their administration. Today, I'm talking to my sister in the Lord, Lisa Sharon Harper. Let me say a few things about Lisa. She's founder and president of Freedom Road. That's www.freedomroad.us. She's the author of four books, at least four, maybe more, but four books, including Left, Right, and Christ, Evangelical Faith and Politics. That's a really good one. And then The Very Good Gospel, How Everything Wrong Can Be Made Right. Oh, that's terrific. That sounds like, let's get the kingdom going there, is what it sounds like to me. Yeah. So she's also been the Chief Church Engagement Officer at Sojourners, and she has a master's degree from Columbia University. So Lisa, so great for you to join us at evangelicalsforbiden.com.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Jim Ball. It's been wonderful to follow your work and your voice over these many years. And so it's an honor to be talking with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, first, Lisa, just tell us a little bit about your faith journey.
Well, Jim, I literally traced my faith journey back to a Sunday evening camp church meeting where I walked forward and at the altar call of a Sunday, really a truly hellfire brimstone message from a traveling itinerant preacher who was there for an area-wide revival. And I had actually been on a journey for a year before that, for a little over a year actually. And I had been asking, who is Jesus and what is prayer, in the context of my 7-person youth group at a Wesleyan church. But I had really kind of been introduced to the idea of Jesus being real today and prayer being an actual direct line to God, and having a personal relationship with God through Young Life, through a young Life group in my area in Cape May, New Jersey. And so, it was at that Sunday evening camp church meeting in 1983, August 21st, 1983. And I actually checked the date to make sure, am I right there? And it was that date. Around 9:30 p.m., they had the altar call. And my friend tapped me on the shoulder and said, would you go up with me? And I had been sitting there going, should I go? Should I go? And she said, would you go? And I said, okay, I'll go up with you. And I was not planning on entering the kingdom that day. I thought, surely I'm in the kingdom, because I've done a walkathon for Jesus and I've done a sing-a-thon for Jesus. I even played my flute for Jesus. I must be in the kingdom. I've been to Amy Grant concerts and Michael W. Smith. I've done it all. Keith Green was my favorite, all of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, when she asked me to walk forward, I did, we both knelt at the altar, me next to her with my hand on her, but then all the old ladies, they surrounded us both, laid their hands on both of us, and I started to weep. And I didn't expect that. I didn't know what was going on for me. But in the middle of it, I literally felt like I was doing a Nestea plunge. Like that little last bit that I had been holding on to, that of control of my life and my future and my destiny and all of that control, I let go, and I just went backwards into God's hands. And that literally changed my life. I had been on a diet. In high school, I was in diets all the way through high school. And I think that this was, 1983, I was 14 years old. There, I just dated myself. There you go. So 1983, 14 years old. And I was on a diet, and I had weighed myself that morning, and I weighed myself when I got back because I just felt different. And no joke, when I got on the scale, I was 10 pounds lighter. I really was. Why? The only explanation I can figure of it for it now is the reality that I literally think there was a weight that the scale registered, that was a spiritual weight that was on my shoulders, and I've really never been the same since.
The Jesus diet.
Jesus diet. Yeah. Yeah, like truly, it's like, I skipped over the John the Baptist diet and went straight to Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So it was really kind of amazing. And I wondered, I remember driving home that night, and it was just like literally around the corner. But I remember driving home with my friends. They were going to drop me off and thinking to myself, I wonder if I'm going to be a Christian 10 years from now. And here I am.
Switching to today, right now, how do you see the state of our country right now? How are you seeing it?
The moment that I learned that Donald Trump well, first of all, that Hillary Clinton hasn't had, ceded the election and said, you win, and Donald Trump accepted his appointment, or his spot as the president. Um, when I heard that, and when he came to the podium, I literally shook. My whole body shook. His his embrace of white nationalism in that 2017 first year in Charlottesville, which I was there, um, it really was a break from all precedent of pretty much almost all American presidents up to that point. Nobody in the American presidency had actually um, embraced white nationalists as their own, but he did. And so America right now is amazed at Trump's propensity toward dictatorship. But African Americans, we've seen this before. We saw this. We saw the tyranny of Southern white men who also, burned a cross. So they also were, they claimed Christian supremacy, right? So in those kinds of ways, we basically see that all of these things come together, and they are coming together right now. Trump shooting into a crowd of protesters in front of the White House so that he could walk across a street and stand in front of a church that he doesn't attend and hold a Bible upside down. That's the White Citizens Council. Trump's policy of separating children from their parents and jailing asylum seekers, claiming that they are doing something illegal by seeking asylum, and then locking them in cages. That's the White Citizens Council. So, what is at stake? When I look at what's going on today, what I see two things at stake. I see the church's witness is at stake, and I see American democracy is at stake. The church's witness is at stake because our votes actually reveal our hearts. And as we vote, we are voting for the world that we want. All of it. But when we look at Joe Biden and why I endorsed him, what I see is I see someone who does have character because he has suffered. And I think that when we see the scripture tells us, count suffering as a blessing in some ways, because what it does is it builds character. We can see those who have had the dark night of the soul have a depth of character that we can then trust in leadership. That gives us a reason to trust them in leadership. And I see that Joe Biden has had several dark nights of the soul. He's lost two people who he loves, and he had to deal with the stutter. And yet he is still a man of public service, which is really honestly amazing. Who, by the way, used to take Amtrak every single day of the year when he of the work year when he was before he was vice president. It's kind of amazing. People will literally see him on Amtrak, the train that goes between Delaware and Washington D.C. Public transportation, y'all. So I think that he's a humble man. I've met him. He is a very humble man, and one of the things that I really love about him the most is actually his commitment to women. That in the 1990s, the mid 1990s, he was the one who wrote the bill for the Violence Against Women Act. Right. And that Violence Against Women Act is really key. It was 1995, around that same time, maybe even in response. I don't know that it's a response. My guess is that it was in response to the Violence Against Women Act. But it was 1995 when the last state in the union, which I believe was South Dakota, that actually finally outlawed rape in the context of marriage. What? 1995. And he wrote the legislation that helped make that happen, VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act. And in that act, what it says is that women should and need to and will have recourse for violence that is enacted against them in the context of domestic violence and or any other form. And up to that point, we had no recourse. We could not go to court. We could not, the people who beat us or who cheated us out of money and out of our dignity could not be held accountable. But it was his legislation that passed and has been re-upped and re-upped and re-upped again and again and again until last year when it was not carried forward. It was called controversial by the GOP Senate. So that's also one of the stakes of this election is not just people of color. All of this goes together. Wherever you see the domination of racial domination, you will also see in that same space, you will see gender domination. It literally, they're two twins that walk hand in hand. And so we can count on a world where VAWA is stricken down and never voted on again, never passed again, if Donald Trump, or at least not for the next 4 years, if Donald Trump wins. But if Joe Biden wins, I know that not only will he have it reinstated, he will push to have it reinstated, but it'll be made better and stronger.
Well, do you have any final words you'd like to say in terms of your support for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
Wow. Well, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that combination literally lights me on fire. I just love that combination. I think that Joe Biden gives us the stability that we need in order to stabilize a nation that has like completely off of its axis. we don't know which way is up, which way is down right now. We're just getting so many things thrown at us, and COVID, right? So we have more than 200,000 people have died. And it's mainly because of poor public health policy. I know that Joe Biden is going to right that ship. I know he's already got a plan for how to right that ship. And Kamala Harris is one who knows how to cut through and actually get to the heart of the matter and help us to see what really matters. And I just love her spirit. I think she's young, she's fiery, and she's a woman, and she's a Black woman. And I am not going to lie, I love that. I think it's fabulous. And I really think that his choice of her is also a mark of his character. He is a courageous man, because that took courage. It took courage not to placate those who are not ready, but rather to say, come on, y'all, we can be better, and to push us all to be better. So I'm down for the cause. I'm in. I've already said I endorse. I'm doing this, we're having a conversation because I think that they are the right choice. They are the right choice. Looking at an opportunity for America to fully and finally enter into its more perfect union.
Well, we'll never, be completely perfect. It's always a work in progress. But, Joe Biden is going to help us strive towards that.
Yeah.
Instead of away from it. And that's where we've been headed with the leadership that we currently have, is in the opposite direction of a more perfect union. And so we need to summon what Abraham Lincoln called the better angels of our nature. And, we need to, all of us, be about electing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, so that we can once again be on the right path, on the right way towards that more perfect union. And folks like me, we've got plenty to learn about what that actually means for others. And so I'm trying to be open. I'm trying to, learn and see, but that's part of it. For all of us, there's more we can learn to know what makes up this more perfect union. and we all have to play our parts in creating it. So, Lisa, I'm so thankful for your time and so thankful for your leadership and your ministry and everything that you're doing, and so grateful for your support for Biden Harris.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's been an honor to talk with you. Thank you.